Welcome to Super Soul Sisters. My name is Jamila Oluka and you're watching UBC TV Inspiring Uganda. In Super Soul Sisters, we make sure that we bring for you the best of the best stories that inspire ladies. But in this month of October, as we are winding up, we want to celebrate Uganda at 62 years and also celebrate women because, you know, where we've come from to where we are now, we should celebrate women. Because if you look at 1962, where women were, we could not even be on TV, but now we are empowered, we are inspired, we can do what men also do. Also, I want to remind you about our most inspiring story pageant, which is ongoing, and the finale is on 14th of December at Nakasero Primary School Amphitheater. We have enough parking, a lot of things to show you. These girls that we are nurturing right now have very inspiring stories that we believe that if you come to support, you will enjoy the stories. So for you to be able to come on that day, we're just asking for a small fee of 20,000 and then 500 for the table and then 1 million for VVVIP for organizations that want to support girl child. Please come on board. We want to give credit to Plan Uganda, for Plan International, for, you know, supporting us and also bringing in some girls that they're already supporting to participate in this most inspiring story.
Super Soul Sisters ground-based inspiring story grand finale is here. With our theme of Vision for the Future, come and be part of this amazing yet inspiring pageant as we focus on the girls' life journey through storytelling to change people's lives. This December, Saturday the 14th, 2024 at Nakasero Primary School Amphitheater from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. in partnership with Plan International Uganda and UBC TV. Ordinary tickets are sold at 20,000 shillings, VIP table at 500,000 shillings and 1 million Ugandan shillings. Be there.
Thank you very much for watching and let's dive into it. So, Atwine, you're most welcome to Super Soul Sisters.
Thank you.
I like the blue dress.
Oh, thank you.
You know, those are colors of women, blue dress, pink, yellow, especially this royal blue. It looks very lovely.
It reflects our reality.
Our reality.
Yes.
Yes. So, Atwine, tell us, what is your name and where are you born from?
Thank you very much, Jamila. My name is Denise Atwine Charity, and I come from Kabale. I am a Mchiga by tribe, but here in Kampala, I live in Wakiso, Mende sub-county.
Ah, you are the first Mchiga for me to see who is come. I was expecting to say, I'm called Atwine, I'm from Kabale.
Okay, you're not the first one who has said that. I think I have met a number of people that have told me, are you really a Mchiga?
I was about to say that either you're from Bushenyi, because Bushenyi people are a bit calm,
okay,
Kabarole.
Okay, I am a mixed blood actually.
Okay,
yes,
that's
my
why.
mother comes from Ankole.
Because Kabare, they speak and you're like, oh my God, this is a real Mchiga. But it's nice to have you in the show.
Nice to be here.
Yes, so you said you're from Kabale,
right.
One of the most cold places in Uganda.
Yes, the sweetest land.
The sweetest land of Uganda. Oh my God. That's interesting. Right. If you come to Teso, you will know what they call the Kalahari Desert, because where I come from is a bit hot. Right. But now in Kabale, it's nice. Yes. So tell us, where, like, did you grow up from Kabale? Like, you can take us through your childhood, like where you grew up from.
Oh, yes. Yes, I actually was born and raised in Kabale. I was born in Kabale Hospital. My parents were both working in the hospital. So I was born in Kabale Hospital and I lived in Kabale Hospital, went to schools in Kabale until I joined Senior 5 after my Senior 4 when I came to Kampala to continue with my education. And primary, I went to Kabale for O-level. I went to Chigezi High School.
I'm going to take you back.
Yes.
I want to know that. How was Atwine, like, the little bit you remember about when you were a child? How was growing up in Kabale? Like, what was your daily routine? You know, nowadays parents don't teach kids certain things? Were you these kids who were told that you must first go and dig Irish or what? Tell us something.
Okay. Not really. I was not the go and dig child. Like I have told you, my parents were educated parents, and my father always said, I don't want my children to dig, because I have been to school and I see the value in school, so I will not have my children go to dig. So I never dug. Apart from the little bit digging, like when you go to school and you have some agriculture work to do at school, I was a school going and home domestic setup where we are learning things from home. And both my parents were very keen on teaching us what to do. We had sessions of agriculture at home where we would plant some tomatoes, carrots, onions, some cabbage. The other day I was sharing with a friend of mine, one day I planted white beans, and when they sprouted, I went in the morning and called my dad, Daddy, come and see my popcorns have grown. Because to me they looked like, you know, popcorns that have just popped out of the soil.
Yes.
Yes. And then what I also saw my parents do, my mother was a very hardworking lady. She had 8 children. I am the 6th of those children. Wow. And she was a nurse, a sister in the hospital. So, and you know, public servants do not earn quite a lot of money. So my mom taught us how to make cakes, bake cakes at home, bread, mandazi, chapati, so that, you know, keep chicken so that we can have eggs to eat and also to share with the rest of in the quarters, staff quarters. Now, all of that gave us an opportunity to learn a lot of things away from just going to school.
What is the best memory that you can share with us of you at home? What's the best memory, apart from the beans?
Apart from the beans, I know. I think the highlight of myself as a young girl is when I lost my dad. Something just told me, don't go to school. I stayed home and I told Mom, I'm not going to school. I want to stay home and take care of Daddy. And she was like, really? I said, yes, I'll be going when I can. So I stayed home, and that is where I see the love in me coming from. I would be there to do anything. Because later in life, my dad was bedridden with, he had a sickness of liver. Liver synopsis, I think that's what it's called. So he needed help, you know, all through, and I was there for him. I made sure he has washed, his bed sheets are clean. Mom would be there to help when she comes in the evening, but by the time she comes back from work, everything is set. Bed sheets have been washed, they have been ironed. Everyone else in the home was involved, but I see myself doing a little more to the point that even the day he passed on, I wanted to know, what can I give you? What can I cook for you, Daddy?
So
and
that you go in peace.
Run to the kitchen and cook for me a pumpkin. And I tried to do that. Then in that moment we lost him. But that time keeps coming back to me. And I believe that was a true reflection of who I am, a caring and loving person.
Apart from being taking care of Dad, and then, you know, seeing I like the part of the beans, you know. Imagine being a child and then you see beans, the excitement which comes. Yeah. But now, what is the most stubborn thing you did when you were young and you're like, I don't want my child to do that?
Okay. I follow a boy. And in my family, we have only 2 boys. So I loved playing with my brothers a lot. I always climbed trees. I went with them everywhere. I never wanted them to leave me behind. And sometimes they would be wanting to go in their adventurous games
boys.
and as boys, but I would still follow. So it made me want also to wear their trousers, wear their shorts, because they would tell me, now if you've climbed the trees, people are going to see your dresses. So I became that boy girl.
They call it what?
Tomboy. Yes, I became that tomboy girl, and it made me dare. I would dare do anything. the way I have seen the boys do it, that is exactly how I want to do. To the point that I would even want to susu like boys. I know, you know.
I understand.
Why can they do that and I can't do it?
I can't do it.
Yes.
And then you're like, man, you need to come back to your lane.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
I understand. So now, where did you go for primary?
I went to Kabale Preparatory School. Yes.
So how was life like going to school? Would you just go to school and then come back, sit? Or what were you doing like at after school?
My going to school was the normal. Like we would walk, like I have told you, we were living in the staff quarters of Kabale Hospital. So there would be many children going to school. First of all, maybe what I need to tell you is that I am one of those children that went early to school because I was like, why are people going and I am not going? So my mother was forced to have me go with the crowd.
With the boys?
With the boys, with everyone else in the quarters. So it was a clique of us. We are going to school in the morning and would walk to school.
And what was the parking? What did you use to park?
I love that. Okay, so our parking, first of all, we did not have this fancy of lunch boxes.
Yeah,
But
sausage, suju, what?
Yeah, my mom would always get tins of medicine, like empty tins of medicine.
Yes.
So those were our parking tins. And we did not have the luxury to have both a bite and a juice. And so we would take our tea or porridge from home, and then we would just carry a solid meal to take at break time.
Like what?
Like I've told you, sometimes it would be a chapati, it would be a bun. Yes, it's
Kabale has a lot of Irish. They never used to deep fry for you Irish.
That's where I'm coming. No. Cooking oil. Remember, we have medical people in the house.
Yes.
Sometimes it would be a roasted Irish or a sweet potato that you carry to school for break. But we would go back home for lunch. The school was not very far from home. So we would go back home for lunch, and it did not require them to pack for us a lot. And when I started primary, actually, we were still doing from P1 up to P3, we were still doing only morning session. Yeah, after lunch, you don't go back to school. It is up to, starting from P4 to P7, that we would do all day. Yeah.
Oh, wow, interesting. So then after P7, which school did you go to? Because usually what I know is when people are in primary, they are within home those days. Even now, parents still want their kids to go from home, unless if you're really a busy parent, that you take your child to boarding. Me, I was that child who was taken to boarding because of bandwagon effect. My sisters were old and I didn't have someone to play with, so they let us take her also to boarding. So, but now, you, after primary, where did you go to? Was it boarding? Tell us more about that.
Mine was a day school all through primary. I only joined boarding when I went to senior one.
Which school?
Chigezi High School. Yes.
So, Atwine, I want you to tell me, because I know you remember.
Right.
The first time you went to, Chigezi's mixed school.
Yes, it is a mixed
so
school. So
how was it like the first time, the first 1 week you went to school? Do you remember that experience? Could you share that with us?
Okay. The demonstration primary school that I went to was also a mixed school, so it was easy for me to mingle with boys and girls. I remember I have also told you before how I used to play with boys a lot. I did not have a problem with mixing with different sexes. I knew how to address some things, but also the other thing that was very helpful for me when I went to a boarding school was that my sisters had already been to that school. So they would come back and tell us, if they do this to you, do this. If they do this to you, if you find a boy and he does this to you, do this, you know.
Equipping you mentally.
Exactly. So by the time I started school, I already knew. And then the other thing, I was so proud of myself because in my P7, I did really good. So I thought that when I go to school, everyone would know this is one of
that is scored first grade.
Exactly. I thought of that. And then the other thing is my father was very encouraging in terms of education. So he would want that he delivers you to school in style. So the day I was going for my boarding senior one, That day he got a car from
Wow.
the hospital and he put us in the car. Those cars, they were called Santana.
I
It is
know,
some type of Land Rover.
You must have even just put your head like
Yes,
this, elbow out.
So they put all of your things there, and you know, I had my white sneakers, and I walked in, I saw this
With your grab.
beautiful, with my grab, with my everything, and my siblings had already taught me how to protect my belongings. And I went to school.
With a fully ironed uniform.
Fully ironed uniform. I remember I was wearing a light blue dress, very light blue. And yes, and I attended school until it was time for me to see the realities of the school. Like the next 2-3 days, I started missing home. I'd never been home, away from home for so long. I was like, wow, when is mommy coming? You know, those loneliness moments started coming in. But over time, I coped.
And you know, most of the kids cry, actually.
Yes. No, but I did not cry. I had company. A number of children, students from my school had come in, so we were still together. We were still together. So
then, now I'm going to ask you the other part, because, you know, senior 1 to senior 4, that's when biology starts disturbing. You're getting boobs, you're becoming a woman. How did you go through that?
With me, I never got boyfriends all through my O-level, but we would have cliques of boys, you know. But like I have told you, I came from a background where I was already exposed to and empowered. So I did not have challenges like being intimidated by boys or, you know, doing the wrong things.
You tell me, I tell you back.
That did not happen. But apparently when I was in senior 2, something happened. Some of my friends were caught in trouble and they were given a suspension. They went home, and these people were from my neighborhood. And now they were like, how can we? And she does not. We have to find a way of putting her in the story. And when they came back, they actually plotted and put me in a story, you know, and they said, you know, some people brought boys in the dormitory and I was suspended. I tried to explain to the head teacher, no, I did not do that. But, you know, that is the time when my dad had just passed on. And mom was like, you know, they have only given a suspension. Don't even try to talk much. If you talk much, they will ask you to go. They will expel you. So yeah, just keep calm and let serve the punishment. And it hurt me so much.
And that thing hurts, you know, when you're accused wrongfully.
Yes, it hurt me so much. But later on, I had to tell my mother, I said, "But Mommy, that was not the right thing." And she said, okay, that is the past story.
You know, mothers, they even know the truth, but just because maybe she didn't want to go through again a lot of that.
Yes.
Anyway, so then where did you go for secondary?
So after senior 4, I had one of my sisters living in the city, and she requested me to come and start living with her. And I went to Chitante Hill. Yes, first I went to Kololo High School, but I was very uncomfortable with the school. So I went home and I told my sister, I don't think I want to be in that school. She said, what are you going to do? I said, no, I have a friend of mine. I had a friend of mine who was going to Kitante Hill. So I asked her, how possible is it? She said, it's okay, you can come and talk to the headmaster and you present your papers and you will see. The next day, in the afternoon, I left Kololo High School and I walked to Chitante.
By yourself?
My friend led me to the headmaster's office. I remember that time our deputy was Mr. Roma. I met Mr. Roma, I explained who I introduced myself, I gave him my papers, and I told him why I wanted to change schools. And I also asked about the school fees structures, like how much is it? Because I don't want my sister to tell me this is a lot of money. Then I found there was no much difference.
It was just the same.
Yes, Chitante was a little more decent, the students and what. So I went back and told my sister, I have found a school and this is where I want to go.
And she's like, it's okay. And Chitante is a good school.
Yes, and she was like, good. So I went to Chitante until I finished senior 6.
And where did you go to after?
Now, after senior 6, by the time I finished my senior 6, my sister had passed on.
Oh, sorry.
And I did not have good backup in terms of tuition. So I planned. And I was like, I am not going back to Kabale. I have to find a way of surviving. So I went to Kisementi. That time it was Kisementi, now it is Acacia Mall. So I went to Kisementi.
Kisementi is still there.
Yeah, that's
the other side.
The old part.
But this part was not there. It was just an open ground.
Yeah, but that time it was all Kisementi.
Yes.
So I went to Kisementi, and there was an Indian man who had a farmers, and I told him I want to work. He said, "Really? You are a young girl?" I said, "Yes, I want to work because I want to raise school fees." And he was like, "That's a new thing to me." Then he said, "Okay, so when can you work and when will you go to school?" I said, "I'll be going to school in the morning and in the evening I'll come to work." Then he said, "Okay, what can you do?" I told him, "I know all these drugs in this pharmacy."
I think he must have gotten shocked like, this young girl?
How do you know them? So I gave him a bit of my background, and he was like, "Okay, let's try this." So I started going to school, and then in the evening...
Senior 6?
Yes, in the evening I would go to the farmers and work. Now, around Kisementi, there used to be a lady who had turned her home into sort of a hostel. I think we were about 8 or 10 students living in that place. So because it was very near school, you can walk and walk back. So it was easy for me to run to school in the morning. In the evening, I come back, I change my uniform, go to Kisementi, work.
Then, up to about 10.
Then run back home, sleep or do my homework. And the next day... It
was hectic.
Yes. But also my late sister's husband kept on like pushing in something, although I was not very comfortable. Yeah, because I was like, now my sister is gone. I cannot, you know. So, yeah. So that's
they say an in-law is always an in-law.
Yeah.
In
so
African
sometimes
setting.
he would even come and look for me. Where are you? You know. And of course, my mom would be like, "Why don't you come back?" I said, "Mommy, I am studying. Don't worry. I will show you."
And what was the result of the study?
Oh, it went well. It went well, although I was not able to get points to take me to Makerere University on government sponsorship. So I had to do a shortcut after that. And first of all, I started doing, the first course I did. Now, at Kisementi, I had a lady who was my friend. And that lady owned a company called Let's Go Travel.
I think I've heard of Let's Go Travel.
Yes, Joanne Kamia. So she became fond of me, and she would always call me, come, let's talk. So she kind of guided me through, and she was like, now, if you're not going to go to Makerere, you can start with professional courses, and then you will upgrade later, because I can see how you're struggling. Actually, eventually, she stole me away from the farmers, and I started working for her.
You hurt the Indian.
No, I did not hurt him. It was not a go bad thing. It ended well, and I told him I have got a better opportunity.
And he was...
And John was ready to help me with my tuition. So I shifted to a nearby, but we kept the relationship going. And Joan helped me, so I did computerized science. And then after that, I wanted to do ACCA, which I did halfway. And then while I was doing that, I got an opportunity to get a job.
Wow.
Yes. So I went, someone just invited me and said, please come, there's something going on at Central Bank, and they want students who can, you know, do some work and what. I said, oh, okay. I went. So when I went to Bank of Uganda that morning, I met one of our distant relatives. That lady's husband was working with my late father, and we used to call her auntie. But I don't think we are really that close.
Auntie for respect.
The auntie. No, but they were also very close family members.
Yes.
Family friends. And remember, I've also told you my dad was working with a husband. So she's called Mrs. Janet Kahirimbanye. So she was like, hey, what are you doing here? Of course, she had not seen me. I went to say hi to her. She was like, hey, what are you doing here? I told her. She was like, hey, okay, come back this week and let us have a conversation. So that week, as she asked, I went back. And when I went, she told me, now there's a training which is going on, and I would like you to meet some people. So she connected me with those people, and I went for the training at Standard Chartered Bank. Now, when I got there, I met a gentleman who happened to be an in-law of my friend.
God was doing wonders for you.
And we had been to his house for prayers. He had seen me with my friend. We had gone to pray. And so he's like, Ate. I'm like, yeah, I'm here. I've been invited for this. I was trained for a week, and that was it.
And then you're given a job.
And then I was given a job. And I started working with Standard Chartered Bank as an intern on, not on permanent. It was a part-time thing. No, not even part-time, but it was a temporary employment. So, and I found myself in that world. So I worked with Standard Chartered Bank for 4 years. And then during the 4 years, of course, now you start picking a lot of interest. I think this is where I want to be. So I started looking for links. We would look in the newspapers with my friends, let us see the next advert. And hey,
did you think of going back to school?
Yes, I was in the process of going. Now I was working and studying, you know. So we came across an advert from Bank of Africa. So I and my friend were like, let us apply. We lose nothing.
And that we lose nothing usually gets people jobs.
So we applied and we were invited for the interview. So I went for I escaped from my office and went for an interview. And when I was coming back from the interview, the border hit me. I'm like, Panange, how am I going to go back to office? So I called my friend, you know what, bring my handbag and I go back home because I've got hurt. So anyway, I did the interview in Bank of Africa and I got the job. I moved on in that direction. So when I went to Bank of Africa and had a permanent job, I was earning enough, then I wanted to go back to school. So I went to International School of Business and Technology, ISBAT. It's a university, and I started and I started doing a bachelor's in administration, business administration. So long before I could finish my degree, now I got a problem.
Pregnancy?
No pregnancy. No pregnancy, not that. I was discontinued from working.
Oh my God.
I was discontinued from working. There were political issues, as you know, corporate companies. And I think my supervisor then had recommended that I am fired. But I was lucky. My performance was very good.
Top notch.
Yes, very good. Very good. I think I remember like every time our appraisals would come out to be one of the best. And it promoted me so quickly to a higher place. So this time round, I did not have a very good supervisor. I must accept. It was not very good. But somehow, because my case ended at the table of the MD, he was like, no, you cannot just go, because I know what you can do. What I am going to do, I'm going to give you a recommendation. And yes, I will, because now I cannot dispute the HR's recommendation after the reports that your supervisor has given, but I am going to push you on. So I was discontinued and given an opportunity to join DFCU. But I had been so stressed. I had gone through a lot of stress, and I wanted to think twice about going back into banking. So I took my time. Good enough, I had saved some small money, you know, and my benefits. So I said, no, I think it is time for me to go business world. There's one thing that really enticed me into going into business. Like I've told you, at home, we used to do cakes, whatever.
Yes.
My mom had a canteen. So it's like all of us had that bit of a business mind. If you do this, you make money. And she would always make sure, how many mandazi have you made? How much did you use? How many have you sold? How much have you got? So deduct what you have put in and know this is your profit. So I still had that in me. I wanted to make money. And I was very challenged because when I was working in Bank of Africa, I happened to work at Equatoria branch. It's very close to Kiseka Market, where we have these mechanics and what,
yes,
you know.
Yes.
So I was so much challenged by these people. You meet this person, comes in the bank, they cannot even write their name. They cannot
they are
even
banking a lot of money.
Yes, they cannot even construct an English sentence, but they have money on their account that you do not have.
And you're like, what?
Yes. So I always look forward. I have to make my own money.
You decided to make a U-turn, like
Yes.
there's this musician Tiwa Savi, I think Savi Tiwa something. She was also a banker, and one time she's like, I'm tired of collecting people's money.
Exactly.
She said,
huge
I have talent.
amounts of money, huge, but it doesn't belong to you. And then, of course, the other thing that I disliked about banking, it tunes you to a level where you are in the corporate world. You have to maintain that standard. You're spending a lot of money.
To look good.
Yes,
to
to
keep
look
the
good,
level.
to buy nice suits, to do, to keep that, So I felt like,
This
I
is
think
not
I
me.
want to be better. I want to save. I want to do this, but I also want to know and to make money. So I made a decision, and I decided to go business.
So you've heard from Atwine. She's been telling us it's such a lovely story. I've got carried away, like, when someone tells you a story and you picture, like you build, a story in your mind. So I've really been excited to hear her story. So for now, we are going to go for a break, but we'll be right back.
Super Soul Sisters ground-based inspiring story grand finale is here. With our theme of Vision for the Future, come and be part of this amazing yet inspiring pageant as we focus on the girls' life journey through storytelling to change people's lives. This December, Saturday the 14th, 2024 at Nakasero Primary School Amphitheatre from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. in partnership with Plan International Uganda and UBC TV. Ordinary tickets are sold at 20,000 shillings, VIP table at 500,000 shillings and 1 million Ugandan shillings. Be there.
Welcome back to Super Soul Sisters. My name is Jamila Luka, and you're watching us here on UBC TV Inspiring Uganda. Super Soul Sisters is having a very big thing coming in December 14th at Amphitheatre, Nakasero Primary School. Come and support us with the most inspiring story of the little Super Soul Sisters. You only need to pay 20,000 for entrance, 500 for a table, and then 1 million for VVVIP for organizations who will come and support the girls. We have quite a lot of stuff that we've organized for you, and we hope that you'll come and support us. We want to give credit to Plan International for supporting us with the girls, bringing in girls, and also nurturing these girls and scaling them as we prepare for the finale. UBC TV, we thank you so much for always making sure that Super Soul Sisters comes out and brings out the message of women empowerment. I tell you what, Super Soul Sisters is one of those shows that you need to watch. If you want to watch us, make sure you tune on every Wednesday, 9 p.m. on UBC TV. I repeat, on Friday, 11 a.m., still on UBC TV. And for some reason that you are so busy during those days you cannot watch UBC TV, you can catch us on YouTube, still Super Soul Sisters. And I encourage you to like, comment, and suggest what you want us to do. Atwine, thank you so much for coming again for Super Soul Sisters.
You're welcome.
It's been interesting. So, from the bank, you said, I'm tired of counting money.
Yes.
Let me go into business. So in business, what business did you go into?
Started with a crèche, something like, because I loved babies, and I was like, maybe this is the area where I need to venture into. So I joined one friend of mine, and we started baby care in Kansanga. And I did that for 1 year, because I think it was the right place for me to do that. And in that 1 year, I really saw the bright end of that business. People would bring in their babies. I was doing from 0 to 3 years.
And you have this contagious thing for, taking care of people.
Yes.
So I think it was so easy for you, like, to snap it just.
Yes. And prior to that, I also had a housekeeper who had inspired me. She really knew how to do everything. So I called her by, and I was like, I want to do this. That's what I want to do. So she came in, and then I had my partner, who was my co-worker in Bank of Africa, and we started that business. So in that 1 year, now they're pregnant.
The children inspired Atwine. I think you're looking at babies and you're like, oh my, I also need to get one.
Now the pregnancy is here. And it was very, very challenging. You know, they throwing up, they this, they that. But we kept on. We kept on with work. And I remember a friend of mine teasing me and saying, Katigwe, abana bakubuze oyagala kubezalira. Yeah, I went to Enterprise Uganda and I was trained in business entrepreneurship. And yeah, it went on until I was challenged by my landlord then. I think every time he would see big cars dropping children, he said, these
like
ones are making money. Every month he started increasing rent. increasing until I was like, I think I have started at a high notch. Because I wanted to look for a beautiful house, a big place, you know, a place that is going to attract the market that I was looking for. So that was not a very good one. It was a mistake for me to start there. And I remember one of my brothers kept on telling me, I wish you could start at a lower level so that you can, you know,
build it up.
Yes. And now during that time also, because I had decided to take that business, I went to, what was it called? Montessori. Yeah, it used to be Montessori in Muyenga. So I wanted to do early child minding to like cooperate with what I am doing. And that's what I did for 6 months. But meanwhile, the pregnancy was growing. And so as time got closer to my delivering, I decided to stop the business. Somehow I was a bit challenged. But as we were doing this business, I also wanted to introduce another product. So I started doing domestic and interior designing and space management. So I was doing these concurrently. Like when the children are away in the afternoon, when they have gone, I can chip in and do this. Then there was also decoration, you know, like image branding, decor. So I was still captured into that corporate world. And that's what I wanted to keep doing. So later I realized the interior designing was making more money. And when it makes money, I put it in the crunch. So I was like, no, I need to leave one of these and concentrate on the one that can. It makes it easier for me. So I left the baby care and I concentrated on the decor. So I did that also for some time until I got tired. It's a bit tedious. Yeah, it's a tedious business.
Because for weddings, what?
You have to stay up to very late, you know. So I got,
and you have to be there.
And you have to be there. Yes, and up to now I still have clients that I had back then that will call me, please come and do this for us. Small jobs, you know, like if it is a small party, 50 people, 100 people, a birthday, I can still do that.
So now, how did you now, amidst all that giving birth and everything, how did you now end up working at Cancer Institute?
Oh, okay. Okay, so fast forward, 2018, now I have had my second baby.
You're married.
I am married. And then one day, I come home in the evening after work, I take a shower, but you know, like you would go in places, you know, when you are going in outings, but I was deliberate about the places I would go to. So most of the times we would get like a social like awareness where they're talking about women, these Rotary, Lions Club things, yeah, check your breast, do this, do that. So this evening I come home, I shower, and I'm like, let me check my breast the way they always tell us to do. So I checked and I felt something. I'm like, wait a minute, there's something in my breast. So the next day I called a friend of mine and told her, Vicky, this is what I am feeling. Hey. And that friend of mine had lost her mom to breast cancer. So she was like, you know, I have a very good doctor whom I can send you to. You go and see what he will tell you. And then she went on and said, let me come for you. So she came and we went to Mulago Hospital. We met this doctor, very calm, very soft speaking. Okay, I will check your breast. So he checked my breast. And then he was like, I think let us do further tests. I said, okay. And he told me, let's do a scan. So we did a scan. And he was like, let's do a little more than a scan.
You started noticing there's a
Yes.
problem.
So he was like, let's do a biopsy. But I was normal. I did not have a wound. I didn't have any pain. I didn't have nothing. You know?
Like to show.
Nothing. Everything was normal. I was healthy. So he's
Should
like, let's
go home and
maybe you should consider doing a biopsy. I'm like, what does it take to do a biopsy? I've never heard of that. She's like, no, it's small. It's a piercing. They'll pierce, and then we'll take the tissue. Now things become hard. I said, I need to run away from here now. So I went back home and shared with my partner, do you know this and this and this? And he was like, you are now calling things to yourself that you will not manage. Leave alone those things. Don't even think about it. I thought about it, and I was like, but let me check. What's wrong with checking?
It doesn't hurt.
Hey, moreover, he has told me the biopsy is only 30K. What is that? So I went and did a biopsy, and it came out positive. And I was like,
Stage what?
I think that time it was, they told me it was stage 2. Yeah, stage 2. And I'm like, what? No. So I wanted to do more and more tests. You know, like get second opinion. I did a second opinion. I organized money. I went to Nairobi. I did a third opinion. And then I came back to Kampala. Now, when I came back to Kampala, the 3 tests that I had done, one of them was indicating negative. Then I was like, now let me go back to Mulago and do the final one. So when I went to Mulago, I met the pathologist, and I went through my story, and he was like, follow your heart. I don't want to do another biopsy, because if there's something and we keep poking it, then it is even going to become worse. Okay. So of course I was living in denial, and I wanted to follow the negative results. And that's exactly what I did. So I went back home and lived my life. I didn't have pain. One of the tests has showed that I was negative, so I thought I did not have reason to worry. But at the back of my mind, this thing kept in me. I kept feeling, but this thing, what about these ones? So I started praying about it and believing that really God will take away the sickness. But in prayer and not taking medication, I did not realize that the thing is growing. So 2020, I become pregnant during COVID and get my baby. So on the 5th month when I was breastfeeding, I got COVID. So I had to wean the baby and, isolate myself away from her and the rest of the children in the family, the people in the family. So it is during that time that I saw something different in my breasts. Like when you have weaned a baby and you expect your breast to go back in shape. So one went back in shape, the other did not. It remained as if it had clogged milk in it. And I was like, it will go over time. But it was not going. And I also realized this swollen bit, the bit where I found the lump, was beginning to become bigger. Not swollen, but like when you touch, the lump is a little bigger. Okay, so I went to the same doctor that I saw the first time, and I told him, this is happening. Then he was like, we need to, let us do strong antibiotics. I think he was also corrupted by what I presented to him, the negative, positive, So he said, let's do strong antibiotic and see how you will respond. So I took the antibiotics and I responded well, but the lump still remained. So 2020, in October, it was a breast cancer month, and I looked at my breast, after watching TV and seeing the adverts about women calling women, please come for awareness, check your breast, what. That evening, I looked at myself and I'm like, I think there's something not right with my breasts. So I took a photo of my breast and I shared with another friend of mine, and she was like, no, let's go.
The same person?
No, now different person, yes. So I went back now to the same doctor, and he was like, this is not looking very good. I said, okay, so what do we do? He was like, let's run tests. So we ran different tests. We had a scan, and then the other time when I went to Nairobi, I had done a mammogram. So he asked me to bring the results of the mammogram. He looked at them, and then he referred me to Chirudu Hospital and asked me to do a CT scan. So when I went to Chirudu Hospital, the results came out positive. And he was like, no more waiting. Prepare yourself
For
this
surgery.
Saturday. No. This Saturday, and we start chemotherapy. So I ran all the tests, everything. And I started chemotherapy. It would have been a bit hard for me to do that, but I had a backup. I have a group of ladies that I subscribe to. They're called Virtuous Ladies. So my sister introduced me to that group, and she kept telling these ladies, my sister is not well. I think my sister is not well. So they put money together, and they told me, whatever it is that you need for a start, we will be there. Please go and have a check. So I went, and that's how I started my treatment.
And how was the treatment like? I know it's
treatment,
challenging.
Yes, it is very challenging. First of all, the doctors and the nurse, he introduced me to did a very good job. They tried to help me understand what is going to happen to my body. I had very long hair, and the nurse told me one of the things that is going to happen to you, you are going to lose your hair. So what you do,
become dark.
Go to the salon and cut it so that when you start losing it, it does not hurt you. You know, it hurts you to see a long strand of hair falling off. So I did that. But all this time, I was keeping things to myself.
Did you tell? But your husband knew, of course.
He knew the first bit, but the second bit, I kept it to myself. I had my own fears. I was like, how will he see me? What will he think about? You know, and then one time I told him I had been to hospital, and he made a comment. Every time hospital. So I was like, this one, I'm not going to tell him again. So, yeah. So I did the chemo. However, even though I had been prepared, I think I did not take some bits seriously. So I went home after chemo. I remember I had my first chemo on a Saturday. I went back home. I was feeling normal. Sunday,
Then
Monday,
the vomiting and what?
Tuesday, now the vomiting starts. My husband was not at home, and I had asked one of my old maids whom I trusted, knew me very well. I had asked her to come, because I told her I'm going to go through treatment, and maybe I'll need someone who understands me very well. So she had come now. On that day, I told her, please keep checking on me. I'm not feeling well. She said, okay. So the vomiting, the diarrhea, the vomiting.
I know
that
that thing it's very challenging.
That day, by noon, I started seeing darkness. By 2, 3, I'm finished. Now,
Hospital.
about 4 p.m., she comes to check on me, 5-ish there. And I think I had gone to the bathroom, I collapsed. So when she saw me, she actually thought I had passed on.
Oh my God, that must have been scary.
Yes, she took on, and I think she told me this story later. She was like, I wanted to go to the other one, then I wanted to go to the other one. But you know, like the way, God has always been on my end. In that very moment, there's a group of people from the Joy Center in Wakiso that I had been praying with. They had come to pray with me. In that very moment.
And then they find that
she is running to the nearest neighbor. She sees a car coming, and in her heart she's like, I hope this car is coming to our place. And indeed, it came to home. And then she came back and said, you people, Auntie has passed on, Auntie is not okay. So they ran to my bedroom, and they look around, so they ask her, what is going on? She said, she started treatment. Very quickly, the wife of our pastor looked around and saw my papers. She was like, this one, they put me in the car and took me to the clinic. I think I remained unconscious for almost 8 hours.
Oh my God.
Yes. But that doctor knew me, and this maid knew the clinic where we used to go. So she told them, no, take her to Dr. Wilson. He knows her, he will treat her. So he received me, and they did everything. They gave me drips, they did what, until I came up. So when I came up, they referred me back to Mulago, and the doctor told me, Denise, when we said drink, we did not mean 2-3 cups of tea. We meant 5 liters of liquid, of fluids.
Jesus.
Teas, juices, what you have to drink.
As much as you can, so that you keep hydrated.
And I think that is when he realized he did not give me the real points. So he had to take me back.
This is a twin who believes she's strong.
Yes, so
Muchiga woman.
take me back and tell me what exactly I need to do. Yeah, so I went back home. Now I started drinking. I had a friend of mine whom I shared with from that very group of the prayer group. And she would come every morning. She carries juices. In the evening, she comes. Sometimes she would even be mad. I brought this, you have not taken it, you know.
And you know, that chemo removes appetite.
Oh, yes. Yeah, the appetite had already gone.
So in all that, you finished the treatment and then...
Yes, so my second, third chemo was okay. The body had now adopted to the drugs. And I was feeling better and very comfortable with the medication. Now I had to be prepared for surgery.
And the surgery went on well?
The surgery went on well. Then I had another 3 cycles of chemo.
And where are you standing now?
Now I am strong. Now I am strong. I walk into hospital as if I'm walking into a market.
And you are now cancer-free?
Today? Oh, yes. What can I say? I wouldn't say that I am completely cancer-free, but I am good to the point where the doctors are not giving me any medication.
Oh, that is good.
Right. Right.
And what is your message to people who are out there?
Cancer is healable, especially when you start your treatment in time, early in time. And when you check yourself, don't sit back, don't listen to any false stories. There are very many false stories in the community. There are people who still believe that cancer is a curse, cancer is witchcraft, and that is all wrong. And cancer is not a death sentence. Just because the doctor has told you you have cancer, it does not mean that you are going to die tomorrow. Run to the hospital, access medical attention, get your medication, take your medication, eat well, and make sure that you take good care of yourself. Right now, I am being sponsored by Uganda Women's Cancer Survivors Association. They work with Oxfam and Voice, and I work as a patient navigator at UCI, Uganda Cancer Institute. So if you have a problem or you want to know more about cancer, you can go Google www.uwocaso, and then you will get more information and contacts on how to reach on any counselors or navigators that can help you.
The Women Cancer the one with Gertrude.
Organize, exactly, Gertrude, yes.
What is the last message?
The last message is for us to understand, as a country, there is so much that has been done about cancer, and I see that the government has put in a lot of effort to extend services for cancer patients in referral hospitals in the districts of Gulu, Arua, Mbale, and Barara, but we need more of this. There's a lot of congestion of cancer patients at Mulago, UCI, because even though these referrals have been done, people still believe that cancer can only be treated at Mulago Hospital. So doctors are strained by the number of people coming in hospital, but I believe that more campaigns and awareness will bring people to understand that cancer can be screened at both grade 3, grade 2, and grade 4 health centers. And if there's a bigger problem, you can be referred to the referrals, or you can still come to Mulago Hospital. Even when you don't have somewhere to sleep, right now we have a campaign. We have a dance campaign on 25th, Friday, and we are soliciting funds to extend and expand the home care, where people can sleep, can have accommodation, but please remember to come with a caregiver. In this care home, you need someone to help you, but you can sleep in this place free of charge. It is very close to Mulago Hospital. You don't need transport to go back and forth to hospital. We are looking forward to seeing prosthesis in our colors. You know, when you have lost a breast, the only processes we have is white, you know. We want to see people with black legs, black arms, black processes, so that you know, you feel like your body is uniform.
Yeah.
So once more, I call upon you to subscribe to Castle and look out for the 25th dance session, where we'll be collecting only 20,000 shillings for a kit, and this money will go to the expansion of the home care at Mulago Hospital.
Oh, thank you so much, Atwine. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I want to thank you again for watching UBC TV and watching Super Soul Sisters. I'm going to remind you that we have a finale of the most inspiring story running on 14th of December at Amphitheater Nakasero. It is in town. I also like to give credit to Plan International for supporting us, sending the girls, and also giving them skilling. Above all, we want to thank UBC TV for always making sure that the content that touches the women is here on Super Soul Sisters. So we thank you again. And from me and my team here, you have a lovely day.